What's up, y'all? This your boy Eddie Jackson. This is the Drop That Podcast. With this episode is brought to you by Layback TV. Over 10,000 channels, movies on demand, every sports channel. All the languages, all the HBOs. You can check them out on laybacktv.com. How they can get it on your iPhones, Androids, and your Fire Sticks. And give a shout out on the Instagram on official_Layback TV. Now let's get into motherfucking hip hop talk. Woo! We got some shit. First of all, shout out first. They went at it for fucking, 2-3 weeks. But 50 Cent and T.I. Good news for them. T.I. Shout out to T.I. His first single for his Kill the King album, Let 'Em Know, produced by Pharrell Williams, has struck gold. That's right. It's the first hip-hop joint of 2026 to go gold. The first single to go gold. So shout out T.I. And 50 Cent. Shout out to 50. Signs a multi-million-dollar deal with Hulu to do a documentary, 3 episodes long. That's going to be interesting. I want to know what that shit's going to be about. All right. We won't rant too long. All right. Let's get into it. Kanye West. For you niggas, new niggas out there know. Yay. All right. He's fresh off of 2 nights. Last Wednesday and last Friday. SoFi Stadium sold out events. Fresh off of that. Fresh off his new album Bully that took forever to come out. Supposed to come out in January. Got pushed all the way to March. Then when on the day it was supposed to come out, it got pushed a little bit longer. He wasn't mixed correctly. Whatever. Shout out to Kanye on his new album Bully. I got the album. The album's pretty dope. It's kind of got like a new flavor and an old flavor of Kanye. It's kind of like a mixture of, I would say, a little bit of like the sound of 808s. I think it's, if there was a threesome, right? If there was a threesome, just flow with me. If there was a threesome with 808s and Heartbreak, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and Yeezus, Bully would be the baby out of that sex scene. Just saying. But that album, with these delays, apparently, I believe, is why it debuted number 2. There's no fucking way with Kanye's name, his new deal over at Gamma, that this album should have debuted at number 2. This shit should have debuted number 1. See what happens? And I think what also plays a part is that I'm going to say Kanye because I'm old school Kanye. Kanye basically, he released an EP of Bully and a 3-track of Bully. And the crazy shit is, it was included to the 20 tracks of Bully. I think all the tracks that he released already should have been eliminated from this track listing, and a whole new Bully should have been out. I think that's the reason why, because we already heard Bully. You're giving us 60% of an album of 40% we already heard. That's it. You're just giving us the other 60%. That's why I think Bully got number 2. It should have been number 1. I'm very disappointed in that. But, aside from that, his SoFi Stadium events, his SoFi Stadium shows, Wednesday's show was streamed live on his Instagram. Friday was streamed live on YouTube. I saw both shows. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed there were certain moments I was disappointed. You know, you see Ye, what did he play? He played Good Life on Wednesday, and he kept stopping the joint to tell the production with lighting, yo, you fucking it up. You're making it look like Vegas, and, yo, is this a SNL skit? Like, yo, he was literally clowning that nigga with the lighting. On Friday, he was stopping the joint again when it was Heartless. You know what I mean? He wanted to load down the intro of the joint. And here it's on and give us on the coldest story ever told. You know what I mean? He wanted the crowd to hear it, to not only hear it, but sing along with it, which I thought was dope. I thought it was dope. The setup, the stage setup, with the whole ball that looked like the fucking globe, that looked like the planets, that looked like the moon. I think it was perfect. I think that was the perfect show. It shows that this nigga's art is still going. I'm hearing, motherfuckers around me. They're like, yo, man, he's the greatest rapper of all time, this, and that. I don't think he's the greatest rapper. I think he's one of the greatest artists. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to put him in a column of just a rapper. This nigga's singing too. You know what I'm saying? He's designing stages. You know what I'm saying? He's a producer. Everything he's doing is top notch. Now, there was eras where I wasn't fucking with. I wasn't fucking with the Yeezus era too much. I was a little off with that one. Because maybe I was a little underwhelmed on the album. I expected Yeezus to be better. Life of Pablo, wasn't really fucking with it. Ye, wasn't really fucking with it. Jesus is King, I wasn't really fucking with it. Donda, gave us a lot of joints for Donda, but it just seemed like he was, I don't know, there's something missing from Donda. I mean, I like Donda 2 better than I like Donda 1. Vultures 1 and 2, I don't really, I'm not really including, because those were collabs with Ty Dolla $ign, and if we're gonna be talking about the collabs, then I would have Vultures 1 and 2, because there was supposed to be a Vultures 3. He announced it. I would put Vultures 1 and 2 below Kids See Ghosts and Watch the Throne. I thought Watch the Throne was the better collab album. You know what I mean? Look at the producers. You had Kanye, you had motherfucking who else you had? You had Swiss Beats, you had RZA, you had Pharrell, they were collaborating with Frank Ocean, The Dream, Beyonce, the whole works. What else? But that's like the shows were phenomenal, and shout out to everybody who jumped on stage with him. I saved the best for last. Shout out to Don Toliver. I fucks with Don Toliver. You know what I mean? As far as Cactus Jack goes, Don Toliver is that it nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because it's April already, and I still think the number one fucking album of the year so far of 2026 is Octane by Don Toliver. That is a phenomenal fucking album. Shout out to Don Toliver. He's got the best album. Till somebody can outdo him, he's got the best album. You know what I'm saying? That's all respect to Ye. That's all respect to J. Cole with the fall off. It's all respect to everybody. But I'm sorry, Don Toliver's got the best album. Shout out to Travis Scott. Travis Scott killed it. You know what I'm saying? Joining him on Father, but also fucking phenomenal with the Fiend joint. You know what I mean? Like that was a record. Who else? Lauryn Hill, who came out with the Marleys, especially with her son. Shout out to Lauryn Hill, the legend. Who else was out there? Oh, CeeLo Green. CeeLo Green made an appearance, and his daughter, Kanye's daughter, Northwest. Shout out to her. Now, they asked me, oh, you think, who asked me? Oh, my kid asked me, you think Kanye is going to bring out his daughter to the show? And I was like, I don't know. She's jumped on stage with him, but like listening sessions, smaller venues. This is a stadium, one of the biggest in the country. And especially with that stage, you're not only in a stadium with thousands, like 5 digits of people. You're on a damn globe with a harness and a safety cable. I don't know. I really didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what she's been rehearsing. Yeah, she's jumped on tracks with him, but who knows? Is this what she wants to do? Because shout out to Blue Ivy, Jay-Z and Beyonce's daughter, because she danced on stage with her mama and killed it. You know what I'm saying? It was like a fucking viral moment. But this trumps it. Northwest jumping on that globe without not a worry in the world, singing 2 joints with her dad back-to-back days. Yo, She's a star. That kind of that jumped over the hurdle of Blue Ivy. I'm sorry. Not being biased. I'm just admitting it. Not only being in that stadium, but you up in the goddamn air. Yeah, you got your parent with you. Yeah, it's a safety harness, but in the end of the day, yo, she held her own. And I thought she was not going to talk on the mic. She was like, yo, SoFi, what up? Yo, she got the look. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even think Kim was going to be there, and Kim was there. Not only Kim, Kanye's new wife, and all his kids were there. All 4 of them. Shout them out. You know what I'm saying? And then they went down the street. As soon as those shows were done, they went down the street for a listening session in Inglewood. You know, with new music and so forth. So shout out to them. It's dope. Let me see. Let's get this shit out the way before we get into something I'm more interested in. The Wireless Festival over there in the UK got canceled. Here's reasons, right? Pepsi, Rockstar Energy, PayPal, Diageo. Now, if you don't know what Diageo is, it's it's the main fucking parent company. Kind of owns like, liquor, like, Ciroc and shit. PayPal, you already know what that is. Rockstar Energy Drink, you already know what that is. Pepsi, they're the biggest of the biggest. So they all pulled out from Wireless Festival. Kanye was scheduled to be headlining there July 10, July 11, and July 12. Those dates sound any familiar to you? Yes, there are the same 3 dates that Jay-Z is supposed to sell out Yankee Stadium on those days. July 10, Jay-Z is scheduled to perform at Yankee Stadium all of Reasonable Doubt. July 11th, he's supposed to perform all of the Blueprint. And then Extra Innings is called for July 12th. And that's because Reasonable Doubt has reached 30 years anniversary and the Blueprint reached 25 years anniversary. But apparently those were the same dates that Wireless Festival was going to schedule Kanye West to headline. Because of all the swastika and, fucking Hitler music that Ye performed or recorded, talking about the Jews, this, and that, his visa got revoked to enter the UK. Now, I'm not going to lie. Kanye's stupid as fuck to do some shit like that because a lot of companies are owned by Jewish people. Okay? Just saying. Not only that, they're going to make you go through hurdles just for an apology. They made you cancel this shit, which is a big fucking deal. Now, if I saw that Jay-Z's performing at Yankee Stadium and Kanye is performing at Wireless Festival, same days, the fan in me is going to be very conflicting. There's a part of me that wants to put, Kanye's show on and then watch the highlights of Jay. But knowing me, I'm gonna put 2 screens of both shows. You know what I'm saying? Now, Blueprint is more my era than Reasonable Doubt. I'm not gonna fucking front and say, oh, I've been on Reasonable Doubt since day one. Get the fuck out of here. That shit didn't even sell 100K on the first week. None of y'all niggas were. They weren't even on Def Jam yet. They was on Priority Records. Okay? Shit didn't start popping off until after In My Lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Probably if Biggie was still alive, probably would go over that hurdle, but it didn't. So, that's canceled. But who's the better rapper? Not Kanye. Jay-Z is always going to be the better rapper. Who's the better artist and performer on these shows? Kanye will put together a better show than Jay. No disrespect. It's just what it is. Kanye is on a different level when it comes down to that. And that's good segue to, before we get out of here. Now the talk is, since, the little coincidence, which we know it's not a coincidence that Jay and Kanye were scheduled on the same 3 days of July to perform on different sides of the world. What would happen in a Verzuz battle? Somebody put up on Twitter who would win in a versus battle between Jay-Z and Kanye West. I put Kanye wins 12-8. Some people say, oh, that's generous. I wasn't being fucking generous, dickhead. I was being honest. That's honesty, not generous. I'm a fan of both. I have my 3 classic favorite albums out of both guys. It is very hard to have 3 classics, let alone 1, but 3 classics I consider from one artist. My 3 favorite classic albums from Jay. It's not everybody's, but it is mine. One is Volume 2, Hard Knock Life. Blueprint 3, Magna Carta, Holy Grail. Those are my 3 Jay-Z albums. Kanye, it's Graduation, 808s and Heartbreak, and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Those are my 3 out of both that are absolute classics, non-skippable. That's just me. Now I said Jay 8, Kanye 12. In a versus battle, 20 rounds. And I'm only saying that because it will depend on the crowd that's going to be out there, because it always depends on the crowd. You know what I'm saying? We seen what Cash Money versus No Limit did. It depended on the crowd. We seen what Mike Will Made It and Hit Boy did. It was dependent on the crowd. Everybody was giving Hit Boy the dub until the verses started. Mike Will Made It won. Tank versus Tyrese. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the crowd. They all were going to give the most famous artist or just celebrity in Tyrese the dub over Tank, but Tank ended up winning. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the crowd, and it depends on the song selection by both. Because if I say Jay, right? If I'm Jay-Z, I play Brooklyn's Finest with Notorious B.I.G. There's going to be a demographic that don't fucking know that joint. Why? Because their parents didn't fuck until 5 years later. Okay? If Jay played Just Wanna Love Ya, that's a dub. Kanye ain't playing nothing that's going to beat that. Big Pimpin', Kanye ain't winning that round. That's already 2. Renegade with Eminem. If he was to pull Eminem in there, that's a dub. That's a dub. Easy. What else? Anything before Blueprint or the Dynasty is going to be, maybe before Big Pimpin'. It's going to be hard. You know what I'm saying? Because he could put Can I Get Up with Ja. He could pull out Money in a Thing with JD. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. 2003. He could give Dirt on Your Shoulder. That's a dub. 99 Problems. That's a dub. Encore. That's a dub. Maybe. I mean, it'll get dicey. The only reason it will get dicey is songs that Kanye produced. This is where Kanye could flip it on him. You know what I'm saying? Because you're allowed to play your joint, featured, written, or produced. Kanye is the producer. This is why he's got the over on Jay. Because if Jay plays H to the Izzo, V to the Izzy, Encore, Do You Want More, Takeover, those are 3 joints that are produced by Kanye West. Kanye West could actually play those. What would he do? That's a hard thing to score. Can't play those because Kanye could play them. He has rights to them. But when it comes down to Kanye, because anything that's after 2011 or 2013, what is Jay gonna play? Kanye's still going. If he plays Gold Digger, Jay ain't winning that. If he plays, he could probably stay away from 808s and Heartbreak. Who's going to be singing? Because if Jay come out with Song Cry, Kanye could come out with Heartless. Easy. He could come out with Stronger. He could come out with Jesus Walks. You know what I'm saying? He could come out with fucking Power. You know what I'm saying? He could come out with that shit. All of the Lights. He could still keep going. Yeah, I got Kanye winning. Sorry to say, but not sorry to say. Y'all got to get your head out of your asses. I'm not being biased. I'm a fan of both. I'm just being realistic. That shit will be conflicting for Jay to win. And that's all we got for Hip Hop Talk. I'm your boy Eddie Jackson to Drop That Podcast. Make sure you hit that sub button, hit the likes, comment. Let me know what y'all think with the Ye situation. Do you think he's canceled and can't recover from this shit? I personally think fuck Wireless Fest and the ones who can't let him in the UK. I'm still going overseas to perform because he still got scheduled shows. Think about that one. Who you think will win out of a versus battle between Kanye and Jay? And let me know what your scoring is. You know what I mean? 20 rounds. Who would win? And by what? Is it going to be 12-8, 10-10, 15-5? Let me know who you got in the comments. I'm very curious because I think Swiss and Timbaland, with the relationships they got with Kanye and Jay-Z, being a longtime producers of Jay and being longtime friends of Kanye's as fellow producers of Kanye, I think they can work something out for verses. But y'all let me know. Y'all be easy, all right? This is Drop That Podcast, and I'm Eddie Jax. Peace.